At the beginning of the story, we see a girl named Jennifer at the edge of the sea. Everyone lovingly calls her Jen. Jen was on a boat with her friends, but the boat got caught in a storm and sank into the ocean. As a result, she was washed ashore. She has no idea where she is. Suddenly, she sees one of her companions lying on the shore. She pulls him out of the water. He is badly injured. Seeing his wounds, Jen goes into the forest to fetch water for him. There she finds a coconut. But since she doesn't have a knife to cut it open and get the water, she tries to break it with a stone. When she returns to her companion, she finds that he has already died. Jen is devastated, but by now, she realizes that the island is completely deserted and that she is all alone. She goes into the jungle again, where she sees a bag hanging from a tree. She calls out loudly, but soon realizes that there's no one else around. In the bag, she finds some other items as well, including medicine. When she checks the date on the medicine, it says 1994. She understands that someone else had been here many years ago, and perhaps never returned. She begins to explore the jungle further and comes across a large, fallen tree, which is very old and hollow from the inside. Night falls, and Jen spends the night under some leaves as it rains. The next morning, she discovers 3 graves. On the island, she buries her friend next to them. While at the beach, she notices some fish washed up on shore, but their bodies have deep claw marks on them. She doesn't pay much attention to it as she's hungry and decides to eat the fish. Jen is convinced that a rescue helicopter will come looking for them, or a ship might pass by, which she can signal to escape. She waits the whole day, but no one comes. That night, she sleeps in one spot. The next morning, when she wakes up, she sees that the body of her friend she buried is missing. Jen is terrified. She realizes there is some dangerous creature on the island. To protect herself, she sharpens a stick to use as a weapon in case the creature comes near at night. She waits through the night for the creature to appear, but nothing comes. The next morning, she sees something floating in the sea. Jen swims out to it and finds a suitcase. While returning with the suitcase, she notices a huge pit at the bottom of the ocean, but she doesn't pay much attention to it. When she opens the suitcase, she finds clothes, shoes, and some photographs. She wears the clothes and shoes. That night, she sits by a campfire, afraid that the creature might attack her. Suddenly, she hears the sound of a helicopter. She runs out and fires a flare gun down into the sky. But luck isn't on her side. The pilot doesn't see the signal and flies away. In the light of the flare, Jen sees a massive shadow in the ocean. She immediately understands that it is the same monster who had taken her friend's body, and now it might come for her too. She runs into the jungle and hides silently in one spot. Though monster passes by multiple times. Would you like help continuing the story or turning it into a screenplay, novel, or comic? Here is the English translation of the next part of your story. The monster passes nearby, but Jen remains completely silent, so it doesn't notice her and returns to the sea. Jen realizes that the monster doesn't live in the jungle, as she previously thought, but in the water. Earlier, it had seemed like there was a dangerous creature roaming in the forest, but now it's clear that the real danger lies in the ocean. She then looks at the photos she found in the suitcase and realizes that the pictures are of a family who had come to this island. In one of the photos, she notices eyes lurking behind a child, and they are the same eyes as the monsters. Jen decides that no matter what, she has to leave the island today. If she stays another night, the monster will come back, and this time it won't spare her. She places a life jacket inside the suitcase, hoping it will float and help her escape. But when she enters the water, the suitcase opens, making it impossible to float. She has no choice but to return to the island. Before nightfall, she hides inside the same hollow tree, knowing the monster will return and search for her again. While thinking about this, she falls asleep. Around midnight, she hears a disturbance, a sound that tells her the monster is nearby. The monster Sam knows she's hiding in the tree and attacks it multiple times, but the tree is strong and doesn't break, so the monster gives up and goes back into the sea. In the morning, Jen comes out and sees that the monster has badly damaged the tree. By now, she knows that the monster only comes out at night, but never leaves the water during the day. Jen comes up with a plan. She catches a large fish from the sea and hangs it from a tree, hoping that when the monster comes at night, it will take the fish and leave. That night, it happens just as she planned. The monster takes the fish and goes back. For the first time, Jen gets a clear look at the monster. It's terrifying. As the monster leaves, she hears the sound of a helicopter. But she can't come out, fearing the monster might return if it sees her. The next morning, Jen decides to build a bed high up in a tree, as she now knows the monster's height. She secures a sleeping spot above the ground. She has now spent 7 days and nights on the island. It's her 8th night. While sleeping, the monster emerges from the sea once again and attacks Jen, knocking her from the tree. She then runs toward the ocean, but the monster chases her and blocks her path, using the wooden spear she had crafted earlier. She stabs the monster, wounding it. The monster throws her away and retreats into the sea. Jen runs back into the jungle and climbs another tree, spending the night there. The next morning, she comes to the beach and sees a raft. She's overjoyed to find that it carries her boyfriend and a female friend, both of whom were with her on the boat that sank. They've been stranded on the raft for the past 7 or 8 days. Seeing Jen, they come ashore. Jen is thrilled to reunite with them. She catches fish and cooks for them. She tells them everything about the island, how a monster comes out of the sea every night and drags away anything alive. But her boyfriend and friend don't believe her. She warns them that one of their companions has already been killed and they need to leave before nightfall. Otherwise, the monster will kill them too. Her friend refuses, saying, "We've been trapped on that raft for 8 days. I'm not going back into the sea." Jen tries to convince her boyfriend, but he doesn't believe her either. Jen decides that if she gets the chance, she'll take the raft and leave without them. Eventually, she gets her chance. She gets on the raft, but her boyfriend and friend see her. Before she can escape, they catch her. Jen becomes frantic, and her friend attacks her, knocking her unconscious. When she wakes up, she finds herself tied up. She pleads, "Untie me. It's night. The monster could come any moment." Her boyfriend replies, "I searched the entire jungle. There's no sign of anything. No monster. No wild animal." Jen insists, "The monster doesn't come from the jungle, it comes from the water." Her friend, annoyed by Jen's words, walks to the beach. Jen's boyfriend stays with her, saying, "You lied to us." But just then they hear their friend scream from the beach and see flames. Shall I continue the story from here? Here is the English translation of the final part of the story. He picks up a wooden stick and runs toward the seashore. where he finally sees the monster in front of him. The monster grabs him and he throws him far away. Meanwhile, Jen frees herself and runs to the beach to save her friend, but it's already too late. The monster has killed her. The monster then attacks her boyfriend, but Jen manages to pull him into the jungle where they climb up a tree and spend the night there. Now, her boyfriend is terrified. He finally realizes that everything Jen said was true. He also wants to escape the island. Together they catch a lot of fish and gather food and water, storing everything in the raft. Before nightfall, they set out into the ocean. But for the first time, the monster attacks them from below. Striking the raft, it grabs Jen and drags her deep into the sea, into a massive underwater hole that seems to swallow everything. Jen still has a small knife she had taken from her boyfriend's bag. She uses it to attack the monster, wounding it. Her boyfriend also dives in with a wooden spear and strikes the monster, but the monster grabs him and drags him into the dark hall. Jen is able to escape and return to the island, but she is completely broken. After losing her boyfriend, she has now lost all her friends, and the grief overwhelms her. She begins to write everything in a diary, documenting everything about the monster so that if anyone else ever comes to the island, they'll be warned about what happens here at night. Then Jen gathers dry leaves and wood and creates a large circle. She makes another weapon out of wood for herself, preparing to face the monster one last time. Night falls and the monster emerges once again, more furious than ever. Jen has wounded it several times already. The monster enters the circle of dry wood and leaves that Jen has set up. She sets it on fire, trapping the monster inside. Jen repeatedly attacks the monster with her knife and spear. The monster fights back, and both of them are badly wounded. Just as the monster is about to kill her, she strikes its heart with her wooden spear, and it kills it. The monster dies. Jen keeps the monster's head with her to prove to the world that this deadly creature really existed and that she killed it. She then heads toward the raft, planning to leave the island once and for all. The last scene shows the island engulfed in flames, possibly from the fire she said earlier. Maybe, just maybe, someone will turn and see the fire and come to rescue her. And with that, the movie ends.